So what we have here is a failure to communicate. All right, so that was that. That was the, I think it was 84, the Tommy build. This one. Okay, first thing we have to do here is we got to fix this hole. It's got grooves in it. Shit has gone through there. And if that hole's sloppy, you'll just pour out into the atmosphere more oil than what you should, instead of just pumping out air, crank pressure. So it's because that's your crank vent. Now on these early models, they would run a hose here and up to your air cleaner so that your valves can suck it all in and get lubed up with dirty, rotten oil. But not Tommy's. No, not Tommy's oil. Tommy changes his oil regular. Fuck, I had to wash this thing like 27 times. Okay, maybe not 27. But like, that was black tar that came out of there. So I changed my oil. I always listen to the customer, but I never believe the customer. That's just the way I am. But I do keep in mind what they do tell me. But then I let the engine tell me what's going on. And that engine did not like that oil, obviously. So what we're going to do here is, I got this jig. It's a Jim's jig, and it's the Exacto Mundo jig. This baby here. Okay, so we're going to cut this hole 30 thou over. I also have a Jim's 30 thou over pinion gear. And it's a steel one, and it's coated, and it's nice, and it's quality. And the breather holes on these are nice and large. Now the other thing we're going to do, once we correct this hole, let me grab this thing here. See if I can do this. Okay. I'm just going to unplug the battery for a sec. It doesn't last very long. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to fix this. Now you can see this is old school Harley crap cutout for your breather timing, right? So we're going to put once we put the crank in, I'm going to use a dummy bearing. I'm going to put the cases together. We're going to run the crank, and then we're going to find its earliest opening where we can. We're going to carve this out, and then we'll find the latest opening and we'll carve that out. But what we'll do first is we'll check it out, and that's what those are for. Now there's this actual set here. I got an S&S wheel and a crane cams wheel. This set here actually times cams too. Now timing a cam is a little different than timing the breather hole. Timing the cam, you got, like the breathing hole, you got to be right on the money. There's no doubt about it. But it's a lot more, let's say, a lot more exact on the cam, because you're timing a cam, right? Now the old car cams, most of them, they time out about 20 thou above the base circle, or upon the base circle, which I'll show you guys later. But the standard for, and some of the early cams, Harley, were timed out that way. But I believe it's 53 thou is standard pretty much. You just get a bit of a more accurate reading on your cam timing at 53 thou. So what I'm going to do is grab some Allen wrenches, like so. Now anytime you're doing anything like this, you want to torque it. So you just want to make sure it gets torqued up proper. That's the bottom line. I don't do this stuff without torquing them. Takes a few seconds more. But a lot of guys, you know, I notice that, like, since the invasion of techies over mechanics, I've noticed guys are just more into, I'm going to go 108 inch pounds, which is 9 foot pounds. These are 7 to 9, basically. Yeah, you can go as high as 11, but I think 9 is plenty good. Earl, I lent an inch pound. Tony said, "Oh, I got to do a retorque." You know, when we built his 96 here. So at the end of the season last year, so I gave him, you know, the torque wrenches he needed. Right? He was trying to torque his heads with an inch pound, and so 70 foot pounds. And he destroyed the gears in the top. Now, I got 2 of these. I got the one you gave me, and I also have the one I always had. I did test it out after I fixed it. I made him fix it. I made him find the parts, get a hold of Snap-on, and do it. I was a little pissed. I'm not surprised. Well, I was a little surprised because, how many years? 30 years I've been training the guy to use torque wrenches. So I was, and his answer was, "Well, what'd you give me that one for?" I said, "Well, you're doing a retorque, so like you use the inch pounds on your tappets, use the inch pounds on your cone cover, use the inch pounds on your rocker covers." Yeah, I had to laugh. Yes, I did. It was the one it was the wrench that you gave me. I wasn't going to give him my other one because I test mine out on the truck when the Snap-on truck comes by, which I haven't seen for a little while. Yeah, so this ream is an exact fit in here. Did I say this was a Jim's? Well, it's a Jim's. Okay, what did I just do? There it is. So, what we're going to do here is get this all lined up. And my tabby hole here. Now, there's supposed to be a plug here, like for alignment. It's missing. Remember, I don't know if I was showing you guys this or not. But hang on, let me get the one tab I do got lined up. Get the screw started. Getting started. So, but I believe something happened to this bike once because I'm looking on the inside of the case and I noticed something blew up at one time. I'm not sure if I did show you guys that or not. But like if you look up in here, I don't know if that's just factory slop, but then I noticed some other things. Now we'll get her. Okay. I think I'm getting better at this. Okay, maybe I'm not. Okay, where am I looking? Almost there. Stay on target. Oh yeah, that's the new cam cover I'm putting on. It's not new, it's just one I had, but anything's got to be better than. And let's go up just a hair. I know you're in there somewhere. I bet you're over this way a bit. Are you? There we go. And we'll bring her out just a bit. There we go. You see that mess in there? Right in there? Now, it looks like something blew up. Now, Harley has had a reputation in the earlier days of being a little sloppy. But then I noticed the case was broken here. You see, because there's this lip here, right? That fits into the other case. And that lip is gone here. And it's been busted. So something did happen to this at one time. No doubt about it, that's for sure. Hit. That's what old Chuckles would say. for sure. The old chuckler, as the boys call him, the chuckler. Now this jig I got here, it's actually designed to use with the crank in. So you can do this with the crank in, but you got to be careful. So if my crank was in, what I would do is I'd fill that breather, the back of that breather hole with some blue rag or something, and then turn around and put some grease in front of it. And that way I could collect all the shrapnel on my way out. Right? So we'll get this baby torqued up. Yeah, I was when I closed my shop, I was talking to the guys. They're good guys and stuff. I own the Yamaha. Well, it used to be Yamaha. I think they gave that up. But working there. All right, where's my freaking hole here, man? Ah, there it is. And I was just asking them, like, what the valve seat angles and that were, because I got a bunch of carbide cutters and stuff that I use on this stuff, and he goes, "No, I don't know what they are." And this is the head mechanic and one of the owners. "I don't know what they are. We got a bad head. We just throw it in the garbage, put on a new one." I'm like, "Oh." I says, "Well, you do know I still use a torque wrench." And then he goes, "Oh, you don't have a battery wrench?" Like, just, yeah, I do. I got a couple. And he says, "Well, that don't matter." He says, "You only get paid book time anyways, right? Like on the newer stuff, that's what you get. You get book time. On the older stuff, a lot of shops, they don't want to work on this stuff because you can't do book time on the older stuff. There's too many variables, right? Now, I am going to cut this hole. Just making sure she's starting proper. Because I am missing the dowel pin up here. Oh, you know what? Hey, I got broken cases around here. I could probably steal a dowel pin out of one of them. In fact, I'm looking at one right now. Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, this is boring, but I'm going to bring this in. I'm bringing this in. I am not using air or battery tools on this. I'm doing it by hand. That's the way I wish to do it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back off and steal a dowel pin out of a dead case. A cracked case that I got over there sitting on the floor. And it's got good cylinders and good crank. Well, I'm going to rebuild the crank on that one anyways, so that it's, somebody needs something done, I can say, "Hey, I got a crank for you. All balanced. Gum dipped." All right. So that's what's going on with this. So after I do this, I'm going to slide the crank in. Where is that thing? So after I do this, I'm going to slide the crank in. Remember, I don't know if I deleted the film or not, but your two bottom studs and this top stud is actually your case alignment studs on these. So I'm going to put those three in, torque it to spec, have the crank in here. Then I'm going to put my timing wheel on. I'm going to find TDC, and then I'm going to bring it back before TDC, so many degrees, and mark it and see how this new gear, the Jim's gear, see if it's starting to open or not. Then I'm going to bring it forward. Now this hole here is a little oval. I mean, this is nicer done than like some old shovel heads. As a matter of fact, I bet you I got an old shovel head case kicking around here somewhere. I bet I do. Uh-huh. Oh, looky there. Well, would you looky there? All right. Yeah, this is a mismatched set that Jerry Lasai gave Tony, and Tony just shot them to me, old shovel head cases. But you see, unless they're broken or cracked or whatever, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. See, this would be a perfect set for putting a big bore on. Okay, let me see if I got that. Now you see how the cases. What the hell? Who's moving here? Am I drunk? See how the cases don't line up on the holes, spigot holes? You want your spigot holes as exact as possible. But if I was to mill these spigots out for a big bore kit, then that would be solved. And then the only other thing I'd have to do is make sure that my deck heights are matched. Otherwise, you're just going to have leaks, a little bit of damage on that. But now here's like on that 84, that's when Harley started getting their poop in a group. Okay, I am. Can you see that? No, here, let's try this one. Aha. Now you see how ugly that hole is, the rough casting in it. You know, it's kind of, you know, and that's factory stuff. But if we get into the 90s, woohoo, where's the other half of you? You're right here. Now I've got to do this one too. I'm going to cut this one too right after I cut that one. I'm just getting ready to balance the bottom end on this. But you see how nice, how much, see a lot more quality there and a better cutout. And that's factory. So you got your 70s version, and we got Tommy's 80s version, and then we got Mother's 90s version. So Harley was getting better and better, you know, just taking care of the small shit. So that's what I'm going to do with that right now. And I've got my cutting fluid on, but I'm going to go steal a dowel pin, put another dowel pin in here, so I'll pop this off. And that way, Murphy, little blind Murphy won't be watching me. Let's hope so. All right.